Book nibbles. Big ideas, small bites. Thomas Erikson's Surrounded by Idiots is not really about idiots at all, though its provocative title suggests otherwise. What the book argues is that the world is full of people who think differently, speak differently, and interpret information differently than we do. And when we don't understand those differences, we're prone to label them as difficult, irrational, or idiotic. Erikson, a Swedish behavioral expert, brings readers into the world of communication through a deceptively simple yet powerful model that categorizes people into 4 distinct behavioral types: red, yellow, green, and blue. These colors are shorthand for core tendencies that shape how people interact, react, and process the world. By understanding these patterns, he says, we can transform frustrating encounters into smoother collaborations, minimize conflict, and strengthen relationships both at work and in our personal lives. Erikson begins by reflecting on the countless moments where communication goes awry. Perhaps you ask a colleague for a report, and they give you long explanations instead of the concise numbers you wanted. Or you propose a new idea, and a friend immediately shoots it down as impractical. Maybe your partner prefers calm and routine, while you thrive on spontaneity. To many, these mismatches feel personal. Why are they so slow? Why is he so aggressive? Why can't she make a decision? But Erikson insists that most of these frustrations arise from differences in communication style rather than intent or intelligence. The model of colors is his way of stripping away judgment and offering a lens to see patterns that might otherwise remain invisible. The red personality is the fiery, driven, result-oriented type. Reds want efficiency, control, and achievement. They don't like long-winded explanations or endless debates. They want you to get to the point, take action, and deliver. Reds are often seen as dominant, impatient, even intimidating. Imagine a manager who storms into a meeting, outlines the problem in blunt terms, and demands a solution before the hour is up. For some, this energy feels motivating. For others, it feels overbearing. Erikson explains that Reds thrive on challenges and competition, and they become restless in environments where progress stalls. Yet their determination can move projects forward when others hesitate. The trick in dealing with Reds, he argues, is to avoid wasting their time and to meet them with clarity and confidence. If you're too vague, they'll dismiss you. If you take offense at their bluntness, you'll misinterpret their intent. In contrast, Yellows are the energetic, enthusiastic, people-focused types. They are the storytellers, the visionaries, the ones who light up a room with their charisma and optimism. If Reds are about results, Yellows are about relationships and ideas. They thrive on brainstorming, on exploring possibilities, on connecting with others. A Yellow friend will tell you about 3 new projects they want to start before finishing the first one. A Yellow colleague will pitch bold visions, often overlooking the fine details. Yellows can be inspiring, but also frustrating if you crave structure, because they can be disorganized, impulsive, and prone to overpromising. Erikson notes that Yellows hate feeling excluded or bored, and they crave validation and excitement. To communicate with a Yellow, he advises, you need to engage their imagination, show enthusiasm, and avoid drowning them in overly technical or tedious detail. Then there are Greens, the calm, steady, harmonious personalities. Greens value stability, loyalty, and cooperation. They dislike conflict and will often go out of their way to avoid it, even if it means suppressing their own preferences. A Green person will be the one who listens patiently, who tries to keep the peace when others argue, who quietly carries out their tasks without demanding recognition. Greens can be the glue that holds groups together, but they can also frustrate those who want quicker decisions or bolder action. They often hesitate to say no, which means they can take on too much or end up resentful. They may resist change, preferring the familiar. Erikson explains that Greens require patience and reassurance. If you push them too hard or criticize them harshly, they may shut down. But if you give them time and respect, their loyalty and steadiness become invaluable. Finally, there are Blues, the analytical, precise, detail-oriented thinkers. Blues value logic, accuracy, and structure. They want facts, not feelings. They prefer thorough planning to impulsive action. A blue personality will double-check calculations, question assumptions, and demand evidence before making a decision. They can be perfectionists, sometimes to the point of paralysis, and they are prone to being critical when others are careless or sloppy. Imagine a blue colleague scrutinizing a presentation slide for grammatical errors, while everyone else just wants to move on. Blues are not trying to derail progress, they are trying to prevent mistakes. Erikson suggests that communicating with blues requires clarity, logic, and evidence. Don't exaggerate or gloss over details, because they will notice. Don't pressure them into hasty choices, because they need time to analyze. When respected for their precision, blues add rigor and reliability to any project. While Erikson describes each type separately, he is careful to emphasize that people are not boxes. No one is pure red or pure green. Most of us have a dominant color with traces of others, and our behavior shifts depending on context. A person might be fiery and assertive at work red, but calm and accommodating at home green. Another might be analytical blue when making financial decisions, but excitable and optimistic yellow when talking about hobbies. The colors are not prisons, they are lenses. The key is awareness, both of your own tendencies and of the tendencies of those around you. One of the most powerful parts of Erikson's book is his examples of everyday miscommunication. He tells the story of a red boss and a green employee. The boss keeps demanding faster decisions, frustrated by what he sees as hesitation. The employee, meanwhile, feels bulldozed and unappreciated, retreating further into silence. Both walk away feeling the other is impossible to deal with. Yet when viewed through the color model, their conflict is not personal. It is a clash of styles. The boss interprets calmness as lack of initiative. The employee interprets urgency as aggression. If both had awareness of the other's perspective, they could adapt. The boss could slow down, and the employee could be more assertive. Erikson provides tip after tip for dealing with each color. With reds, he says, be concise, clear, and confident. Don't meander. With yellows, focus on the big picture. Let them express ideas and match their energy. With greens, show patience, give them time to process, and avoid pressuring them with sudden changes. With blues, provide data, structure, and transparency, avoiding exaggerations. He encourages readers to imagine conversations in advance, tailoring communication to the other person's style rather than insisting on their own. This, he argues, is the heart of effective communication: flexibility. A particularly insightful part of the book is his exploration of stress and how it amplifies our color tendencies. Under pressure, reds become more domineering, yellows more scattered, greens more passive, and blues more nitpicky. Knowing this can help defuse conflict. For instance, if a yellow colleague under stress suddenly seems unreliable, it's not because they've stopped caring. It's because stress magnifies their natural distractibility. If a blue under stress becomes hypercritical, it's not malice, but anxiety. Recognizing these stress behaviors allows us to interpret others more compassionately and to adjust accordingly. Erikson also addresses the question of whether one color is better than another. The answer is no. Each type has strengths and weaknesses. Reds drive progress but can be abrasive. Yellows inspire but can be unreliable. Greens provide stability but can resist change. Blues ensure quality but can slow things down. The magic lies in balance. In a team, having multiple colors represented ensures diversity of strengths. A project led only by reds might charge ahead recklessly. Led only by blues, it might stall in analysis. A healthy mix allows ambition, creativity, harmony, and precision to complement one another. Throughout the book, Erikson uses anecdotes from his work as a consultant and trainer. He recalls sessions with managers who discovered that their frustrations with employees melted away once they recognized the color dynamics at play. He describes couples who stopped arguing once they realized they were speaking different languages. For instance, a green husband and a red wife who constantly fought about decisions learned to slow down and speed up, respectively, to meet in the middle. Another example features a yellow employee who seemed unserious until her boss recognized that she thrived on brainstorming and needed structured follow-up to turn ideas into action. These stories ground the theory in practical reality. He also warns against misusing the model. It is not a weapon to pigeonhole people. You're such a blue. That's why you're impossible. Nor is it an excuse for bad behavior. I'm red, so I get to yell. Rather, it is a framework for self-awareness and empathy. The point is not to judge, but to adapt. Erikson urges readers to first reflect on their own color tendencies, then practice observing others. He suggests paying attention to how people speak. Do they focus on facts, feelings, results, or harmony? Do they move fast or slow? Are they loud or quiet? These cues reveal their likely dominant color, and once you know, you can shift your style. The implications of this go far beyond workplace productivity. Erikson shows how the model can improve parenting, friendships, sales, negotiations, even daily interactions with strangers. A red parent might push a green child too hard unless they realize the child needs patience and reassurance. A yellow friend might feel unloved if their enthusiasm is met with criticism. A blue customer will only be convinced by data, not by hype. By noticing these patterns, we can avoid countless conflicts and misunderstandings. At its core, Surrounded by Idiots is about humility. It asks us to accept that our way of communicating is not universal, that others are not wrong or stupid for being different. By reframing differences as color-coded tendencies, Erikson offers a simple yet profound way to decode human behavior. The book's enduring appeal lies in this combination of accessibility and depth. Anyone can grasp the four colors, yet applying them can transform the way we see others. In the end, Erikson reminds us that being surrounded by idiots is an illusion. What we are really surrounded by is diversity. Different minds, different temperaments, different ways of processing the world. When we stop labeling and start understanding, what once felt like chaos becomes a symphony of complementary parts. The person who once seemed impossible may reveal strengths we overlooked. The relationship that seemed doomed by miscommunication may flourish with a shift in perspective. And the workplace that once felt divided may become cohesive, not because everyone changed, but because we learned how to listen. That is the quiet brilliance of Surrounded by Idiots. Its model is simple, but its implications are vast. It is not about memorizing categories.